let's begin. So, wow. First of all, an epic moment. I think this has been a long time coming in the making. People have wanted
I'd
to
say
see
so.
us have a conversation for a very, very long time. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving us your time. I want to say that up front.
What interesting, what a coincidence. What are the odds? It's the coincidence of this timing, just, I'm sure it's all just circumstantial, right?
Oh, of course. There's absolutely no reason why it would be right now, this week, or anything. No, it just came together that way by complete, you know, luck, dumb luck, right? Um, but you're here. That's respectable.
I am.
I thank you for your time, and I want to let you know because I told the audience this before. I know you weren't here. There is absolutely no interruptions. There's no pop-ups on this stream. I'm not going to be reading shout-outs or anything from anyone. The stupid camera is screwing with me right now. But I'm not going to be doing anything to be distracted. It's you and me. I want to respect you because you're giving me your time. It's not about contributions today. I mean, I will shout them out after we're done when you're gone. It has nothing to do with you. I'm not going to be reading out insults or anything like that. That's not what this is. Okay.
I don't care if you did anyway, but that's fine.
I know
Continue.
you
That's
don't
fine
care,
though.
but it's just the thing. I mean, you're going to give me your time, dude. I got to give you respect for doing that. You could be doing something better with your time, I'm sure. And I appreciate you coming on. Now, before we begin, I want to clear the air here. You have absolutely no preconceived notions of what this appearance is, right? You don't know. We haven't talked about if it's going to be a topic, if it's going to be anything, right? We haven't planned
No.
anything, correct?
Not once. And if you did, I would call you out on it. You didn't. You
There
did
you
not
go.
say a fucking word to me about anything.
Because people have been speculating for the last couple of days, well, since yesterday, and I guess you had let it drop on your show that you were going to appear a couple days ago before we had really confirmed it, and then I confirmed it yesterday, and everyone's freaking out. This is an evil plot. They've got all this stuff going on, and, this is not legit. But no, it's not the case. We have nothing planned, all right, previously, like Rich, and I have not spoken about this beforehand. This is completely a legit appearance here. And I guess, Rich, before I begin saying anything, just before we
You're gonna
start,
get shirtless? Are you gonna get shirtless?
absolutely not. I'm just
Oh,
curious,
come on.
do you have anything you would like to just say up front as a starter before we get into anything? Is there anything you want to get off your chest? Is there
I
anything you
got
like to say?
I got plenty of questions, but this is your show, so I will let you begin.
Oh,
I have
okay.
plenty.
He's got plenty of questions, but it's my show. All right, that's fair enough. That's a good way to start. Okay. All right. So, funny that you bring up, the timing of everything, correct? Because obviously I
Mm,
tried to get you on this show back in the fall and it fell apart. You did cancel last minute. Then you wanted to come back on, and at that point I wasn't interested. But we're not here to argue about the specifics of what happened there. But I have tried to have you on, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. So now this week I've got you on. All right. And a lot of people are like, this is great. It's the first face to face of Rich versus Phil, and they're going to either have it out or maybe this is a plot. They're going to be like buddies now because the casino has turned on Phil. And now Phil's probably looking for allies, right? And he's looking for buddies
which
to team up with against the casino, right? That's what everyone's saying. What do you think about that?
Well, I hope to God that you knew from the beginning that was going to happen. I don't think you did though, because you were essentially in there. You did simp for them for a while, Phil.
Hmm.
One thing I found funny is that things that I've just said for years, you make it like I'm going to stalk you and dry hump your front door in the middle of the night. But when PPP said those things at the time, now you're different because the fallout and he was calling your wife fat. But back then, it was with them, it was just razzing. What's the difference between when I said something and when PPP said something, which would be just as bad, if sometimes not worse? Why was there a difference with that?
Well, there's two things. Number one, if you have some kind of an arrangement with someone, if you're working business wise with someone, okay, and you know that there's a mutual benefit to being associated or making content, then you give a few inches, right? You'll give a little bit of leeway. You'll let them get a little bit of a rise or get a little bit of a boost or a little bit of whatever it is on your behalf. Because quite frankly, you're also getting a boost on their behalf by being associated or making content with them. All right. But just like everything, there's a limit to that. And what's happened is PPP took it upon himself to keep pushing those boundaries as far as he possibly could, thinking that he was a big shit, basically, and he could get away with
Yeah, but
whatever.
that was at the 11th hour though, Phil. I mean, they were there was actually a video of where like like you tiptoed into confronting him about what he said about your wife, and you gave him a pass. Also, too, there's a video that Mighty D has where you were, and this happened multiple times. It wasn't just in his video, where you would be in their kick chat in like the wee hours of the morning,
Mm-hmm.
text messaging them or messaging them in their chat like a teenage girl. You were gifting subs. You would go
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. You always say that your time, like that was what were you doing then? You say your time is valuable. You say you're very busy,
Mm-hmm.
but then you were sitting there in their chat essentially just simping, actually, which is funny. We'll talk more about simping later, but that was very strange to me.
Sure. Well, I guess we've had a good cold open, right? I guess we'll get into it now, right? We'll actually get into like the format and what this is actually going to be. So Rich, I have to be honest with you. All right. I'm going to be very honest with you right now.
Okay.
Okay. I do have a plan for this appearance, and it's nothing whatsoever what you think it is. Okay. But I want you to calm down.
What is
I want you to calm down. There's no guests coming on or anything. It's just you and me. I promise you that. Okay. No special,
Okay,
no
that's fine.
shocking twists. No, oh my God. Gotcha.
Even if there
moments.
was if there was a guest, that would be fine.
Okay.
Good drink.
Rich, do you recognize this?
Let me look on.
He's not looking. Oh, you don't see me?
Ah, those are your poker chips, Phil. Yeah.
Correct. This is the briefcase that was used as a prop during the co-op react that I did with Kino Casino back in the summer when we watched your documentary from June the King. And basically, it was used as a way to humiliate you over the course of that event, where every time that there was something embarrassing that happened, we would take some chips out, right? And at the end, we were at the very end, you had one chip left. And I said, this is your chip. I'm going to hold on to it. And I had it on my screen back here. And everything, was around this chip in the casino. And you even called it out in your content. And you said, Phil, you fool. They're not your friends, but you have their memes in your content and all of that. I'm well aware of all that stuff that you said. Okay.
Which was true from the beginning. Everyone saw that coming from a mile away. You were a content mill for them.
So, okay.
As you've seen.
Fair enough. Now, I bring this up for a reason. All right. And we're going to explain it in just a moment. But I have one other question for you before I actually show you the briefcase. Okay. And the question is this.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the king snake? The animal?
Nope.
You're not?
Nope.
The king snake is a creature, a snake, that lures other snakes into its den. Dangerous snakes, snakes that are known to already be predators, rattlesnakes, and others. The king snake uses this trick in order to make those creatures feel safe. And then the king snake surprises those creatures from behind and swallows them whole. The king snake.
Are you swallowing me, Phil?
Hold on. The king snake eats other predators whole after laying a trap. Okay?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the briefcase. This is Andy and Ashton's briefcase. Because, ladies and gentlemen, today on this podcast, this is not the Level 1 podcast featuring RTU at all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Level 666 podcast straight out of fucking hell, because today, live on the show, It is time to explain to you how over the last 8 months and the last couple of years, all of my planning has finally come to fruition. I robbed Kino Casino. I'm
No,
not
you
kidding.
didn't.
I'm
How
not
did you, Rob?
fucking kidding. Everything that you
This-
have seen happen, I swear to God, has been part of my plan all along. Because all of you think I'm so fucking stupid. You all thought that this was oh, he got fooled. He had the wool pulled over his eyes. I 100% had this planned since day one. And
Phil,
I am going,
I
you don't believe me.
no, I don't believe you. I've been watching you now for over a decade. You were full in on this hook line, and so you called Andy your gaming soulmate.
Okay. Rich, I got the receipts. And we're going to look at them together right now on this show.
Okay.
Are you
I would
ready?
like to see these. Yes, Philip.
This is the briefcase of Andy and Ashton. And every single time that we go through a topic and I expose them for who they really are, they're going to lose a few chips. And we're going to see at the end how many chips these two have left over.
This feels like retcon to me, Phil, but sure, prove it to me.
Sure.
Let me see.
We're good. No worries, man. All right. So let's get started, shall we? I'm changing my screens if you don't, because Rich, you can't see any of this, obviously. I'm going to let you know what I'm actually doing here, and you might want to tune into the stream. It's going to be very hard for you to see, but I'm going to be reading
I'm
things
already
as
on
well.
this. I'm already on the stream too.
Okay. Let me actually resize you here so that you can actually be. Here we go. So here's the funny part, folks. All this week, there's been all these threats thrown around by Kino Casino saying, God forbid that any of these private messages be leaked that I had with Phil or we had with Phil, because these private messages would be so damning. They would hurt him so bad. And man, he is hiding from it. And we're counting down to when we leak the messages. I already put the messages online. And by the end of this show, I'm going to give everyone the links and you can all read them for yourselves in full. I'm not kidding. Because this was my plan
This
all
doesn't
along.
sound like 4D chess. This sounds like damage control.
There's no damage control here.
This sounds like you're just trying to get in front of what they're going to say.
There's nothing to say. As you're going to see and what we're going to go through, everything that they think they have was already planned ahead of time. Every single thing that I told them was either a lie, a half-truth, or something to buy their confidence. So they would think that over time, they would have something on me. Because the truth is, Rich, I'm tired of being pushed around. I really am. All right? I'm going to be honest with you and the internet right now. Back in 2023, when I did that Side Scrollers interview, and that interview went how it did, and I walked out of there thinking, not a lot of people are going to like me. But at least that interview's out there, and now I don't have to worry about this bullshit anymore. And then the next day,
because those interviews make you seem disingenuous, Phil. Like think about
Fair
how
enough.
simple.
Fair enough.
Think about how simple would have been to show, like, hey, just show me that down from which we know is your account now, which we know you're still using, by the way. Down from the rafters is my WWE Champions account. My Sweaty Man addiction is there. And then you were like, I got to protect my family, which made no sense, Phil. That made zero sense. How does showing a username in a game, that's the equivalent of like showing a gamer tag on like your Xbox Series X. And you said, and then when you had him on the show, and he said, I forget the exact wording. I just thought of this now. I do have notes, by the way, but he was like, so you weren't telling the truth. And you said to him, it doesn't matter if I was telling the truth or not. It's still an answer.
That's right. Because I wasn't there to give them some kind of an insane, truthful expose on anything. The whole idea was I give you an interview. Doesn't matter if you like it or not, but I'll give you an interview. And then we're supposed to actually continue on with content. I was supposed to be a regular guest on their show, which was actually the original premise of being on it, is that I was going to be on there, add my 2 cents towards topics and everything, get some exposure, maybe bring some viewers over to my channel. Some of my viewers go to their channel. They didn't give me that respect because after the interview, they decided to make endless amounts of content for weeks to months about me,
So
crapping
what?
on me and making tons of money. And the problem is that negates the whole premise of the interview. An interview is supposed to be you just ask questions, you give answers, and then the audience has to judge for themselves. Not right after the interview ends, the interviewers say, oh, well, that whole thing was bullshit. We don't like that guy and he's an asshole. Don't believe him. You've completely disingenuously conducted that interview if that's how you behave yourself after, in my opinion. So,
Phil, every radio show or talk show has after shows about the guests that they have on, and you weren't truthful, so their take on you was right. So I'm not really sure where you're coming from with that. Like,
fair enough, but that's not even what we're here for today, okay? And I get it. We already argued about the side scrollers thing for ages. They're not even the topic of discussion here. But after the side scrollers thing, I had enough. I said, I've had enough of people on the internet always constantly using me as the butt of their joke, talking about me, using me to make money, and doing everything they possibly can in order to kind of, mess with me and just get over on my behalf. And I realized at that point, the only way that I was going to be able to change things was to actually do something for myself. But there's no way that I could actively do it publicly. Because if I did it publicly, then everyone would just laugh. Because everyone thought I was a big meme and a big joke, right? And to some extent, people still do. I mean, I got a little bit more of a boost since, the last 8 months, but not much. But what
they
no
do.
one realized is that I decided for myself to do something with initiative. And I said, I want to try to actually get over on one of these people who's one of these content creators who's constantly a misery broker. And I know you've heard me say that before. What I think a misery broker is someone who literally doesn't make content for themselves. All they do is they look at other people's misery, they report on it, they make fun of it, they laugh at it, and then they make a bunch of money. So a day when it's a bad day for someone else is a good day for them. But in reality, if it
So
weren't for other people,
you
they wouldn't be able to ever have any popularity. It's the only reason they get anything.
so what you're saying, this whole entire thing for your casino arc was 4D chess that you were playing them to the point that you would hurt your own reputation and career?
Rich, not only that, I cased probably 6 or 7 different individuals who I thought I could maybe get in their good graces, figure out how to get in on it, and see what would happen. And
Sorry.
after looking at all of these different people, all right, someone in my chat one day had said, did you hear about Kino Casino? Did you hear that they're also making fun of Review Tech? Just like you are, or just like he's making fun of you and back and forth. And did you hear that they're constantly making fun of him in their content? Okay. And I said, no, I don't know anything about these guys. I didn't. But I went over there and actually watched their content once. And I knew from the first moment that I started watching their show, this was going to be the one that was going to work if I was going to try to make this happen. Okay. Now, Rich, I'm going to be honest with you again. You have unwittingly been a part of this since day one because you were the reason that I contacted them. You were the reason why I affiliated with them. The whole co-op, react to your
Well, at least
documentary.
that's one thing that Andy said was true. I wasn't as unwitting as you think, but yes, Ashton kept on saying that you went to him. Now I see that that is actually accurate.
Oh,
Okay, so
oh,
that
you're gonna see it's accurate because I'm gonna show you all of it. I have it all right here, and we're gonna look at it together. But I just need everyone to understand what the premise is and what's going on here. Is that the whole idea was to get in the good graces of the casino, to find a way to collab that was going to get me over, that was going to get me some popularity, make me some money, but also at the same time, make them think I'm some kind of a fucking idiot so that they will always think that I'm indebted to them, that I'm always going to do what they say. Because I know how they are. Let's be honest here. We know Ashton. We know Andy. These guys are not squeaky clean. These guys have burned every bridge. They don't have friends. They
Yet
can't
you were
have
still
friends.
yet you were still absolutely dying to work with them, though.
Oh,
I
not dying to work with them. They were a means for me to finally get out of the position that I was in, being the whipping boy of the internet. And that was the intention from day one. Everything that I laid out, every conversation I had with them, every late night bullshit session I had with them when I should have been asleep, every time I was on their streams kissing their butt, throwing them super memberships or whatever, was all part of this. And they think they have something on me. They're insane. How they didn't
they
know,
do.
how they didn't know that everything I was saying was fake, I don't know. Because, I mean, I'll give you some examples here. I said, my wife was sick and she had found God. And now, because of that, I can't do this idea that you came up with. And they bought it. I said, oh, my rabbit is sick, so I can't do the show today. My mom is sick, so I have to fly. I keep saying sick, like every excuse was someone's sick. Yet they bought it every time. Every fucking time.
or you were just nervous to go do it, so you canceled on it.
But the point I'm making here is I basically manipulated them as much as I could to make them do what I wanted. I got what I wanted. And then when I knew they were going to eventually turn on me, because we all knew that from the get go, right? We knew they were going
And
to
you
turn.
That's kind of just gross too, Phil. You would say that your family members were sick to get out of doing things with them,
Oh,
to
it's
get a
not.
one up on
Oh, no,
them?
no, no. It's not to get out of doing things with them. It's to basically have a way to make them believe that everything I'm saying is true, because no one is going to think that someone's going to just pull that out of their ass. But to beat a snake, you have to be the better snake, Rich. It's the only way to do it. You have to make them believe the lies. And man, did I pull the wool over their eyes for the last 8 months until finally I had enough. And the truth is, I had enough for two reasons. Number one, the disrespect to my family. And number two, because I wasn't getting anything out of the collaboration anymore. These guys, all right, have some of the worst ideas I've ever seen for content. They were pitching ideas that would have worked, but they didn't have any clout to make the ideas happen. They legitimately couldn't make anything work that would have made us money. It was cancellation, denial, cancellation, denial, after. It was like endless to
Phil,
the
I'm
point
not
where,
a fan of the casino, but they did have the clout and the money to make things happen. I think the only person believing this in this stream right now is you. I don't.
Rich,
I mean, how do you do so? You're trying to tell me to believe that for the past 8 months,
mhm,
when you were sitting there gifting them subs, simping for them like hours upon hours on
mhm.
end, trying to get them to pay attention to you, like they were Beavis and Butthead and you were Stewart, that this was all some big plan to get vengeance on people that if you never affiliated with, you would be in a better position than you are now. You went, Phil. It's just a fact. You saw that there was an opportunity there. They feigned friendship with you. You
Mhm.
called Andy Worski your gaming soulmate. You were so into all this to the point that you let them shame you. And now in the end, after all is said and done, you come out on the other end looking worse, and you're trying to tell me that this is 4D chess. Come on, Phil.
Rich,
Come
I
on.
could never possibly come out at the end of anything looking worse. You understand that, right? Like, I have been the joke of the internet for over a decade. No one listens to me. Even when I have valid things to say, they do that stupid meme that's like, oh, the guy that you hate the most or the worst guy you know finally made a good comment, right? So there's nothing to lose. There was only anything to gain. My viewers don't give two shits about the
Oh, they
drama
do.
at
They
all.
do.
They don't want the drama. And that's why when it started to get to the point where these guys wanted me to completely change who I was, all of my content into drama content, that's when I basically broke it off and they completely lost their minds because they're so angry that I was the one in charge of the situation all along and not them. All right. Enough of
No, you
us
weren't.
chatting about this. And you, by the
You
way,
weren't in charge of the situation. You absolutely weren't. But okay.
you feel free to go ahead. You feel free to chime in. I'm okay with this. All right. You feel free to chime in whenever you want. But the reason you're here is very simple. I want you to witness this going down. Okay. And you were the one who basically started the whole thing with me reaching out to them and us reacting to your react. or your documentary, excuse me. So it's only fair that you be a part of this. You understand where I'm coming from? You think that that's a fair thing to have you here?
Sure, Phil. Let's see what you got, boy. Let's see.
All right. So it's already been said. I didn't realize that they had said this, but we'll go ahead and we'll show it anyway. And by the way, because now I'm going to start showing stuff, everybody. FYI, at the very end of this show, I am going to give you all the links to the raw files that contain all of the DMs between myself, PPP, and Andy, so you can all read them in the entirety for yourself. All right. So that way there's no shock. There's look, he hid something. He edited anything. I've edited nothing. This is all 100% unedited. You're going to be able to watch, and appropriately, they're all nicely in PDF files, which makes sense since those guys have been sweeping for PDFs for quite some time. So now you can read all their logs for yourself online. Okay. So, so we start off with the very first time that I ever talked to them. And this, I guess they've already admitted to this, that it was me that reached out to them, okay, in a DM, basically saying, hey, is this the host of Kino Casino? I'm trying to find a way to talk to the guys, but I can't find anything official, okay? And so we had a conversation back and forth. Of course, the first thing we're talking about is you, Rich. I saw your vid about Review Tech threatening June the King. Today I have my take on it on my podcast. And I basically used you as the way to bridge that gap and get that initial introduction with these guys. In fact, the whole idea of us doing
So you're the Batman. You're the Batman of drama merchants, going selflessly to take them down.
You can call it whatever you want. You really can. But the point here is, I was the one who initiated the contact. I was the one who actually suggested the react to your documentary. They had kind of alluded to it on their show, but they never thought it would happen because they never spoken to me before. So I contacted them and I said, let's do it. This is a genius idea. I knew that was going to make money for both of us. I knew that was going to be big. It was going to bring me notoriety. It was going to bring them notoriety. I'm the one who put that great idea out there and made it happen. All right. It was me, not them. It was my actual making it happen that started this whole thing and got this popularity train rolling. Now, there's a few pages here and us going back and forth.
Okay, Phil, I got a pin to pop on this. Here's what I think.
Go ahead.
I think you just your hate boner for me was throbbing. You saw that they were wiping the fucking floor with me, and you wanted in on it. And when they embraced you and treated you like one of the whack pack on Howard Stern, you got a taste of more money. You thought they feigned friendship with you, which you bought into. At least is what it seems like. No, better yet, I think it was friendship, and I think you saw that you were getting money. So your nose was Andy Worski's asshole now must be spread out maybe like another 2 inches because your nose was so deep in there. Like what I think you're doing now, as a matter of fact, I guarantee what you're doing now is because you know that this is disastrous for you, that you're trying to be like, aha, all along, it was my master plan. It was not your master plan, Phil.
Okay.
It wasn't. And look, that's fine, but I'm just not going to believe it. I don't think anybody with like a upper double-digit IQ will believe it.
So we have 2 files here, and I'm just seeing if I can actually show you. So I don't know if you can see them on the screen, everybody. Here, I'm going to try to get this here. So this is the file of me talking with Andy in DMs. Okay, this is all of them, back to back, 182 kilobytes. The one of me talking with PPP, 1,031 kilobytes. Why?
When did you make these, Phil? Right click on them, go to properties. When is the origin date of these?
Where's properties on here? There you go.
You right click on whatever file you're clicking on.
Just made them a couple days ago. Here it is. I got them off of my X archives, and I used a third-party app to turn them into PDF files so that we could actually see them today, because or else you have to be in a web browser to see them. So the point I'm making why I brought that up is I almost never talk to Andy at all. Almost never. Andy is kind of the guy from what I'm to understand. He's the tech guy, all right? He's the guy that gets everything together, that the data runs the show. But PPP is the guy who actually gets the ideas, talks to people, wrangles them in, etc. I talk to PPP about 40,000 times more than I ever talked to Andy. And it's hilarious because the internet has this misconception that, like, I'm bros with Andy and we always talk behind the scenes about games. We almost never talked at all. I have
No,
endless folders here of me talking to PPP about all the stuff we did. I have a tiny folder of the few things I ever talked to Andy about. It's just a complete fallacy. But that's what people want to believe because they want to think that, like, I was his best friend or something. Andy, I'll be honest, I think that PPP is kind of the brains, while Andy is just kind of the operations. You know what I'm saying? Like, never did Andy contact me about an idea. Never was he the go-between. It was always PPP who was the guy who was talking to me about everything the entire time. Okay? So what I'd like to
well, it was
do.
you.
Oh,
What
go
would
ahead.
you like to do, Phil? You were the ones who were trying to make it like they were your best. So you're saying even when you defended them and went to bat for them
Hmm.
with the numerous clips that are out there, and on your own channel, I've seen them because you
Hmm.
always say it's always the track when they're like, oh, they're just razzing me. This was so you were humiliating yourself to get like a master plan of vengeance back on them.
I 1,000,000% knew they were going to turn on me eventually. There was no way they were never going to because they've done it to everyone. They've burned every bridge. They do whatever they need for personal gain. And everyone knows this. Like you said, you knew it. Everyone else knew it. But everyone apparently thought I was the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. I'm not. I knew exactly what was going on from day one. They seemed to be the only ones who didn't get it. They thought I was
Or
that
you were
dumb.
desperate.
Now, there's a difference between desperation and actually finally taking control of your destiny, which I decided to do for once instead of just being stomped on all day
Phil,
by
the
everybody.
best way to take control of your destiny is to not get yourself involved in that. The best way to take control of your destiny is to do rewards for your audience that isn't you eating pizza. Like that those are ways to control your destiny. The way to control your destiny is to make content that's more entertaining. You could say I'm a clown, I'm a buffoon all you want to, but me getting the tattoo of you near my left ass cheek as you as Dracula from Castlevania is bizarre. Maybe it's a little gay too. That's okay, but it's that's like y- people want entertainment, and right now you're not. Oh, I know we're going a little off topic here. You're not offering it. Did you see the video where someone said that the middle manager Phil? Did you see that video?
No, I don't watch any of those videos. I have no time for it. I'm busy doing
It's not.
this thing here.
It's think about it though. It's not. Don't even take it as an insult. There's truth to it. Where you're talking about a pizza party, like it's like if you're working commission sales and you hit a goal, but the reward is your audience watches you eat pizza.
Mhm. Yeah,
You see where that's insane?
Rich. There's entire businesses on the internet based on people eating food on camera. You realize this, right?
But Phil, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I was like, let me go see his DSP. Where do you have your DSP tries it on DSP reacts, right?
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
where you put them. One of them at most got 2,000 views. You probably
Yeah.
made like 75 cents off of it.
Yeah, because that's not the business, that's the reward. Get it? I've already raised the funding for it so I can do it. It's the
But you
opposite of
then
what you're thinking.
So then you're solidifying what I'm saying, that the reward for your audience is to watch you eat something that they could drive down the street and get themselves.
Because that's what they want. When they watch me do those videos, they see me try a product that maybe they will then get because they want to try it. And numerous people over the years have said, "Hey, I saw you try that and I went and got it. Man, it was good." Or the flip side, "Man, I couldn't believe it was that bad. I had to try it for myself and man, it was really bad." Or, "Hey, I was going to get that, but I didn't because I saw your video and now I realize it's bad. So thanks for saving me the trip and the money." But we're not here to argue about the validity of DSP tries it. We're here to take a look at the
Can we
receipts.
talk? Can we talk about your microphone setup too as well? You
Who
you know
cares about
you
my microphone setup? What are you talking
because
about?
because you've given me a lot of flack about this microphone setup, but this is actually technically the
Rich,
correct way. It ties
in
into
front
everything
of
that
me, I have 8 months of private conversations with the casino, exposing them for their idiotic attitudes, the things that they said to insult people that will get them in hot water. We've got all kinds of. You want to talk about my microphone? You're for real right now.
well, Well, yeah, because it kind of ties into the like. I know you're being disingenuous, making it like this is a master plan, and you're even with small things. It's not about who gives a shit about the microphone, who gives. But the point is that you're disingenuous, Phil. First
Oh
off,
my
you're not using
God.
your. Hold on one second.
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
Go ahead. Go
Let me.
ahead.
Actually, I need a sip of my luscious drink here. You're using your dynamic microphone right now like a shotgun mic. Actually, if you watch PPP, he also has a dynamic microphone like you and I have. If you watch other podcasters, this is how you're supposed to have the mic. It's also supposed to be very close to your mouth because dynamic microphones mitigate how much audio is around the room.
I know.
You
I'm well aware
I-
of this, Rich. I can do it too.
but you're not though because I'm looking at you right now on screen.
Because I don't want the mic up my ass when I do my podcast, Rich. It still sounds
So
good, and I don't have to suck the mic.
So no, it doesn't. Your mic actually sounds worse than your previous mic. Many people have said it. You're using your mic wrong, and I feel like you're using your mic wrong just out of pride to get back at me and other people that are telling you that you Phil, put the mic, get a different stand, put it so it's here near your mouth, and you don't have to have these 8 billion different filters in OBS that makes it sound like you sound like you're going through puberty again. Your voice sounded significantly fuller and better before. You know, and who cares about the mic stand in and of itself? It just shows, Phil, how you're disingenuous and why I can't believe you about this whole master plan.
The mic is what shows
Yes.
I'm disingenuous. And that's why you can't believe the evidence I'm about to show you.
Yes. Also, we could go into too when you got that mini PC. When you just make up facts
Folks,
off the top of your
Folks,
head.
if anything, all right, let it be said. All right, I tried to get Rich involved in this because I thought he would add something. I thought he'd be interested in what I've done here. But I guess he's more interested in
I'm
arguing
interested. I'm
little
interested.
idiosyncrasies of nonsense. This is what he thinks is entertaining to the internet.
No,
this is amazing.
It's not idiosyncrasies. It's not idiosyncrasies. Phil, what about? Can I ask a question? Now that mic stand that boom arm that you got, you realize I actually found it. I have it right here. You spent how many hours and you ended up breaking the boom arm, right? Why do you make your audience do your work for you instead of you looking up? It's a Shure Broadcast 1 mic. Hold on, don't say folks. Don't say folks yet. Don't say folks yet. There's a 1 and 30-second mic video. Why couldn't you look that up instead of having a multi-hour stream where your audience's time you have to understand is valuable? Like, I got a flash cart that I found in a drawer. I had to find new firmware for it. Not going to get. Point being is that I looked into things myself, looked it up myself. I didn't fire up a stream and say, "Hey guys, watch me be a dumbass and look how to make this flash cart work." These all tie into why anyone with a modest intelligence is not going to be like, "Man, Phil was getting the one up on them." Because you what? Yes, please talk to me, Phil.
For a decade, you had a channel called Review Tech USA. And in the last 5 minutes that you have wasted of everyone's time, you have reviewed more tech than you did in your entire decade on your own channel.
Okay. But that still doesn't take away from what I'm saying right now.
You are the master of bad timing and how to make things that are exciting incredibly fucking boring. Good God, man. Don't you understand?
How is it boring when I'm saying things like you?
Oh my God.
You
Dude,
said
aliens would be landing outside and you would be talking about how your stove is malfunctioning. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Phil,
we are not here to talk about a microphone, you incredible buffoon. Could you stop for 5 seconds and just stop wasting everyone's time so we can actually talk about the subject matter?
I am not angry. You also talk. It's what I'm trying to tell you, Phil, is that you see why it's hard to believe you. You also just recently said you can't have another Castlevania marathon. There's only 4 classic Castlevania games.
Rich,
is that true, Phil?
We have several topics to choose from. All right, we do. I would like to let you choose a topic that we can delve into first. Okay. Which
Phil,
topic would you like to delve into? We've got Mudahar. It's a Gundam, which is a nice one because apparently It's a Gundam was coming on their show on Friday. So you'd be interested to see what PPP has to say about him.
shout out to It's a Gundam. He's my dude. Continue.
Medicare and how they basically ball suck this guy constantly and think that he's the end all be all of content. Two entire folders of their incredibly awful ideas that I had to keep shutting down because they were so bad. PPP incredibly embarrassing himself because he actually thought that like we were like bosom buddies or possibly he's gay. I'm not sure. We'd have to see there. And then basically how it fell apart. Also things that they said about Keemstar that I think you'll find pretty interesting. Or we could just look at the very few things that I talked about with Worski because we barely ever spoke. I'm telling you, like it was such minuscule stuff. Where would you like to begin?
Are any of those as embarrassing as when you pressure your audience to donate so your wife doesn't have to cook dinner?
Oh, they're actually way more embarrassing because I do that publicly as an act to entertain while
No, you
these
don't.
things were done behind the scenes in good confidence. So that's the difference.
All right, so you know what, Phil? Show me something, man. Show me. I want you to show me why you called Strangely Lex a slut too. When I show
Oh,
more skin, as a matter, I show more skin than she
that's not
does.
in here because that just happened recently. We didn't even talk about that behind the scenes. We only talked about that on the show. So what you've seen there on, Smart Guys
There's
is what
nothing
you
to
get.
see.
There was nothing behind the scenes to talk about.
That was just you being salty, but okay.
So what would you like to talk about here? Or should I just pick one? By the way, for the record, everyone's telling me to just dump you from the show because you've already derailed it so poorly and they just want me to do this for myself. But I'm keeping you on here out of good faith. So what would you like to
Phil,
do?
Phil, you have over 1,300 viewers right now. I'm not seeing, the only one seeing is maybe because a couple people who want Ethan Ralph to come on, but no one's saying to dump me from the show. This is the most viewership. Like, you would need to do like 6 streams to get this much viewership.
They're not
Who
here for
wants me
you,
gone?
though, Rich. They're not here for you. I hate to tell you.
So you get this much viewership every day?
No, it's because I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, you being on this, I'm doing this as a service to you because I did use you as the way to get this entire arc started. So I felt like it would be a respectful thing to do to have you on the show while I go through this. But I mean, if you're not interested,
press 1 if you want me to stay. Press 2 if you want me to go.
So I mean, if you're not interested, if you just want to talk about mics and shit, we could do that on another show, but that would not be this one. Okay. So what would you like to do?
It's Phil. There's mostly 1s here, Phil. There's only a handful of 2s.
Okay. Are you going to pick a topic, or do I pick, or do I dump you from the show? Those are the 3 options. You pick, I pick, or you get dumped. What would you like to do?
You could pick a topic and then I'll pick the next one. How about that? Let me ask you a question. Oh no, here's a good one. You keep on saying, even recently in a video you just made a few weeks ago, that I'm on drugs when I don't even take edibles anymore. I haven't for the past 5 months. Why do you keep
I believe
saying
that. I do believe that you're off drugs. Right now you seem pretty coherent and clear, so, absolutely that's true.
Now,
You're definitely not on drugs.
you just
right now.
this wasn't even a month ago. It was February 24th. You've
Yeah.
even said that I drank weed seltzers. Why would you say things that aren't true, that you don't know about?
I from what I've seen on your streams, you were drinking weed seltzers in the past. I don't know specifically what you're
Phil?
referencing, so I can't answer.
Phil, I've never had a weed
right.
seltzer in my entire life.
So I didn't know that. Do you want me to pick a topic, or are you going to pick one?
You could pick it. You didn't know that, but you went with it, though.
All
okay.
right.
Continue.
So we'll start at the beginning. The whole point here, and this is what I want you guys to understand, is when I started working with the casino, all right, the big idea was the co-op react to Rich's documentary. And that was the gold mine, and we all knew it, right? We knew this was going to be the big one, right? And then after that happened, it's like, well, what are we going to do next? And for me, it's like, well, you guys know what I can do. I play games. I could do that. So anything gaming related, I'm down for. But they said, well, we're the drama guys, right? We're going to come up with all these ideas of guests and things that you're going to interact with. So the very first one they had is, let's hit right now. Let's strike when the iron is hot. Let's actually get Mudahar to do a co-op with us. We're going to do Chain Together with Mudahar, who's talked about you over and over the years. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be so awesome that Mudahar is going to be in the content, okay? And so here it is. We thought that we would do Chain Together, and they say Mudahar is going to be in it because he's like the biggest guy in their Rolex. Okay, I'm just paraphrasing because we don't want to read word for word here. Like I said, I'm going to drop the files at the end of the show so everyone can read them for themselves, word for word. That's why there's dates and everything here. Okay. There was a little bit of nonsense, and it was my fault because accidentally I didn't even know I had Mudahar blocked on Twitter, and I already publicly apologized for that. I didn't know that. So here's what ends up happening. After hyping this up that we're going to do Chain Together with Mudahar, Mudahar cancels last second, like literally last second. Now, doesn't tell me why Mudahar canceled, but says, well, we'll try to reschedule, but we want to try to rush it before the end of the month. What ends up happening, all right, is Mudahar literally stops talking to these guys entirely. 100%. Won't answer them, won't get back to them. Then, within one
Devastating.
Within one day, Mudahar deletes his entire Twitter account. Now, I had been talking only once. I had a conversation with Mudahar behind the scenes, and he had actually publicly apologized to me and said, hey, FYI, if the only thing that's really bad about you is that you've been begging for contributions on the internet and you were a little dishonest with your viewers, I'm okay with that's fine. Let's jump on. Let's do this, Chain Together gameplay or whatever with the casino. But then within 24 hours, the guy backs out of it and deletes his entire Twitter account. So immediately, the first idea that I'm going to do and work with these guys supposed
that
to be
wasn't
big.
the reason. Okay, this is boring. That wasn't
Okay.
the reason that he deleted the Twitter account.
Oh, you know what he said? I know exactly what he said. It was because of all the harassment he got and that people were being so nasty about certain things. I get that. And I'm not saying that's why he deleted his Twitter account. I'm saying this is the first actual thing that happened with these guys after the co-op react to your documentary. This is supposed to be our first big thing, and immediately it falls apart. Like, immediately it just doesn't happen. They can't contact the guy. They can't get him back. For some reason, this is supposed to be the biggest guy in their Rolodex. He's ghosting them now. Okay? So now we'll move on. I think there was like one more here, but these are just me going through with them saying, look, he deleted his Twitter. I hope that had nothing to do with us. And you know what? So Worski says, I think he chickened out because he can't handle the heat. That's what Worski said right here, that Mudahar can't handle the heat of doing it.
These are all nothing burgers. Where is the damning stuff here?
We're going to go. We're going through a lot of stuff. Relax. Relax. And then here, well, I'm trying to find it. He basically says, I think that, oh, this is Josh Moon. He says that basically the detractors contacted Mudahar en masse, and he thinks that he pussied out because your detractors contacted him. That's what PPP says. Okay?
Screen share that link that I sent you. I want you to explain it to me.
I'm not screen sharing any links. We're not doing any bullshit that you want to do. It's not your show.
Why is you not doing? It's not my show, but you brought me on.
All right. So
I think Phil, I think you thought this is going to be like some like battered wife. Like, yes, let's go. I don't care about I really don't give a shit. I don't care about.
Okay. So I guess we'll continue on. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. I tried, everyone. Really, I did. I tried to make it entertaining. That man is not entertaining in any way, shape, or form. I really wanted to give it an honest shake, but he's an idiot. Okay? Wow. I mean, he really did not want to play ball. He did not want to have any fun. That guy is a loser. That's sad because I was trying. I mean, not that I want to be that guy's best friend or anything, but I mean, holy shit, dude. Like, that was pathetically bad. Like, why can't you just shut up and just ride what we're doing here and go with the idea? But what else can I say? I mean, that was awful.